often tell you here on the show, don't we, how the mainstream media works. You know, the stories that they put out to make sure that you're influenced by the headline. Now, the more educated of us, and that's everybody who watches this channel, I might point out, know exactly what the headlines mean against the real story. But there are a few people, of course, that still believe what they read or see in the mainstream media. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and as ever, lovely to see you. Whatever you're doing today, keep safe and well. I tell you the big stories that really kind of get my goat is, I don't know about you, but with the mainstream media we have over here, for instance, a presenter on breakfast television, Susanna Reid, and she's just been awarded a brand new contract, which is over $1 million a year, to debate, host, whatever you want to call it, the breakfast show. And a lot of people find it rather galling, the fact that she is the host, basically debating the cost of living crisis with this sort of empathy of, oh, it must be terrible. You know, how can these people truly be relatable? I think people would really have more respect if they said, I'm highly paid, I'm not really having the same problems as you, but the bottom line is, let's debate it anyway. You get the picture. This is the sort of story that happened to our current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Rishi Sunak. Now, he's only been in the job a matter of weeks, and it's already well known that he's a billionaire through marriage, you know. He's incredibly successful. He doesn't necessarily need a career in politics, and he's our very first British Indian Prime Minister. So he's broken the record books already for that. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, it doesn't matter how successful you are, there's always somebody ahead who's basically trying to say to you, well, you know, you can't be that successful. We're not allowing it. This particular story really centres upon the fact that it emerged, get this, that the British Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, Ireland, you know, all of that sort of stuff, well, basically he has private health care. I know, shock, horror. Now, this was broken by a left-wing paper called The Guardian over here in the United Kingdom. But, as ever, they don't necessarily do their own fact-checking. That's right, because, well, he does have his own private health care, and I'm saying this as a non-political person. The bottom line is, what do we expect him to give up a day sitting in A&E while he waits to be seen? I get the fact that he's responsible for the National Health Service in some respect, but it's not totally all of his fault. What's strange, though, is that this particular writer, Pippa Carrera, I think is her name, or how you pronounce it, she fails to mention, of course, that the newspaper that she works for, the Guardian newspaper, also provides her with private health care, as it does most of the people who work there if they're on a full-time contract. But you see, that's exactly how the narrative works for the mainstream media. Look, it's shock horror. The British Prime Minister does not have to queue like the rest of us for the NHS. But then again, neither do the writers, or indeed the publishers, the editors and the executives of these newspapers that are simply spinning stories to make you feel bad about people who have done incredibly well for themselves. Good or bad, as I often say here on the show, there's two sides to every story, and we're here to share it. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.